Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Astrology for Mystics. I am your host, Jennifer Jennings. Thank you guys for joining me this morning. Thank you for joining me. Let me get my transits up because this morning, yesterday, and today, there is a collective transit surrounding Layla Centinello. And I have been seeing her a lot in the transits with the collective transit like Vulcanus. Vulcanus is a 357. This is where she shares pain with people at a hotel, at a business, or working a business. So this is something that I've been watching very closely. And I've been looking at her map, trying to figure out where she can be, where she can be found. And there are certain roads that are just, it just is what it is. I can see that there's a lot of energy going to her mother this morning in the 8th house of death, rebirth, regeneration, other people's money, things that are hidden, even taxes. There's a lot of energy, and this is her lowest point. This is literally the 1337 in Aries is Jennifer Centinello's lowest point. So I have been trying to get clarity. And I think that this morning, I think that there is clarity that's definitely coming through. However, this morning, I want to not talk about Layla. I think that is hopefully that is going to come to fruition soon. Her case, that is. But this morning, not only, I've said time and time again that sometimes these cases, they'll just overlap. And I'm not sure what's happening, what's going on, because they're overlapping one another. In this manner, what I'm talking about is Layla is holding this collective transit here with Vulcanus in Leo. And it's also about her children, her child, Nova Grace. It's also about the attention on the business or the hotel, the business that she was, a part of. But it's also, and the physician had just come over her. I'd said that 3 weeks ago. Anyway, this collective transit with Poseidon in the 3rd house of communications in Scorpio, this 1542 is making contact with Sebastian Rogers. And how he shines. He shines at a 1542 in Sag. This is also being in transit since yesterday. It is a whole 24 hours, sometimes longer, like 48 hours, so on and so forth, transit. And what has taken place is there's this relationship. There's this relationship that is already an orb that's coming with Sebastian. And I know that there is a justice, a higher learning that is coming to oppose his mother. Whether or not his mom has anything to do with his disappearance, whether or not Chris has anything to do with his disappearance, look, the evidence of behavior makes us suspect of not just Chris and Katie, but their family. Because it's suspect. It is suspect to us. Therefore, we are suspect of their behavior. Chiron has just left the 2656 that he rises with. It goes to, it's the same degree as Maryland. And we've talked about that. We've talked about Maryland and the FBI. But you know what? Something that I realized with the Texas flood is that this 2542 is also FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Association. And they are highly connected to the FBI. And I can't, ignore the fact that Terry Bowersox has this 2542 no matter what time he's born. He has it in Aries. Eris is in Aries. He has a lot of warring going on. And it's where the FBI descends. I can't ignore that. I can't unsee it. Does that mean that he had anything to do with it? No. But does it mean that it's possible? Yeah. Yeah, it is. It means that it's possible. And so that's how I, express myself with my intuition when I'm seeing these degrees. It's hard to discount the fact that when these degrees come over us, they are expressing themselves time and time and time again. This morning I'm looking at Uranus. Uranus is just come into Gemini. This is a big deal. Uranus being in Gemini is a big deal. And there is going to be a lot of oppositions with the United States, with Uranus. And I cannot unsee the fact that our Uranus return, the United States Uranus return, is highly connected to Richard Carrington. Who is Richard Carrington? Richard Carrington, our Carrington event is named after him. The sun. The sun is what is the giver of life. It is what is the take away of life, right? We are dependent on that nuclear star. That's the reason why the ancients worshipped the sun god. So these degrees in our charts literally matter, right? And that is what I'm saying, is that there is a lot of energy, lots of energy that is going to Jennifer Centinello this morning. There's a lot. I mean, I'm talking about a lot of energy. A lot of energy with the attention on Layla, her child, the attention, the money, the donations, where she can be found, even where she can be found. But there's no doubt about it that I have been watching Mars oppose. I'm talking about oppose Sebastian. And the only thing that I can find with the chatter is videos on YouTube. That's really it. I mean, unless, there's something about the investigation, and that's very possible. But these 12 degrees with Mercury, with Mars, it's already opposed Sebastian. They've already opposed him. And we do know that there is a lot that we have no clue about, when it comes to the lights. We are still skeptical about the lights. We are skeptical about all of those cameras that didn't catch Sebastian. If he ran off in the middle of the night, why is there no cameras catching him? Why? It makes no sense to me. If he walked out, why do we not see him on camera? There's a lot of Ring cameras in that neighborhood and outside of that neighborhood, but none of them caught Sebastian. That's what makes us suspect, right? That's what makes us suspect. The moon, we can see that the moon right here in the 4th house of home is in Sag. This means that the moon is traveling in Sebastian's 1st house. It's about his life path. And we were reflecting with the quick movement. We are reflecting with the higher learning about where he could have traveled to. And the moon, let's just look at the moon's aspect, because we need to see where the moon is aspecting. It's faded with Vulcan at a 2302 in the 11th house of groups. And that's what we're talking about. We're talking about the home system, the home video, right? We're talking about all that. Jen, have you looked at the possibility of him being on Enoch Way? He's not going to be, they're not going to be that stupid to have Sebastian around their home, around their property. I think that that's a no-go. Yeah, he went missing from his home. But you know what? Who I don't know. I don't know that he didn't go missing from there. All I know is that the law enforcement states that he made it home. There's video and audio in the vehicle that they are convinced that he made it home, and they are convinced that he took the trash out. And that's all I can go on. According to the map, these addresses make sense, like where the vigil was held. So I feel confident that he made it home and that something took place between 1 and 3 a.m. and there was a relationship involved. There's a relationship involved with it. If not more than one relationship. So the moon is also in a good standing with Chiron. Chiron is at the 2757 and it's just left. It was a 24-hour transit all day yesterday. Chiron was at that 2656. So it's about his ascendant, how he ascends and descends in life. Possibly the head wound that would, or warring. Maybe he was choked out. I don't know. I'm just saying there's something here. It's in good standing. The moon is in good standing with Pallas. Let's look for Pallas. Pallas is the investigator, 2238. Pallas is going to come. Pallas is coming down to his Neptune. Coming down to his Neptune. And I'm going to show you guys that here in just a minute. It's opposing Hygeia. So the moon, the reflection is opposing Hygeia at a 1517. I can think of several states that have that 1517. The sun right now is shining on Florida. Let's see. It's squaring the nodes. So the moon is squaring the nodes. 2130 in Virgo, where he's been before. The north node with relationships. Possibly knock him out with some type of medication or something. Opposing the midheaven, opposing the communications, the ring cameras. That's the moon. And it's in good standing with Eris, the goddess of discord and strife. Let me just go ahead and pull up Mr. Bowersox. The only way, so on public records, he has a certain birthday. But if you look at him, his birthday, through the Davidson County website, the Davidson County clerk, where he was arrested years ago for, well, you can look it up. But this is interesting because no matter what time he's born, this is something I can't unsee, and so I have to wonder why he is connected to the FBI and and FEMA, Federal Emergency Management Association. This is where he has a breakup. There's a breakup. There's a burden. There's this breakup. And look at that. It's the same degree, same sign in Aries. So what's going on with Terry Bowersox, I wonder? Has he been having headaches? Something going on with his head? Or is this burden, this breakup, when will it come to fruition with the FBI? Because This is where they descend with relationships, just like they descend with relationships with FEMA. Hey, Jeff, Kathleen, April, Kelly, DNW. Good morning, y'all. This is no matter what time he's born. Let me make sure that I've got his. We'll just look at it, make sure that I've got it right. Davidson County Clerk. Davidson. Here we go. Terry. Let me make sure, because I've got the 5th and the 8th. So August 5th, Terry Allen Bowersox. This is public record. I'm going to just go ahead and view the details. Date of birth, 8/5/1957. 8/5/1957. Yeah. August 5th, 1957. See what I'm saying? So on public records, it's got the 8th. So here's his, it's about the ammonia. And this is where he descends with the FBI. And I can't unsee it. Storage or ammonia, often with the intent of manufacture. You see it. We can't unsee this. We can't forget about that. Okay, well, Jennifer, that was a long time ago. That was in 81. I don't care. I don't care. I mean, I don't have that on my record. Do y'all? I mean, you don't have that on your record. And if you do, then, you have violated. These violations can range from theft, improper transportation, to inadequate safety measures and noncompliance with risk management regulations. Penalties for violations can include significant fines, imprisonment, and requires to implement corrective active. So it's an ingredient. It's ingredients. Manufacturing. Can't unsee that. I mean, even if you got a record, okay, you don't have that on your record. I'm just saying. Just want to make sure that I'm showing you that this is his birthday. I don't need to know what time he's born because this is not going to change. Admitos, this breakup with the warring with the FBI is not going to change. He's weighted down in Pennsylvania with money. He has a lot of attention, right? Lots and lots of attention with children, with attention himself. He's not the most trustworthy person. And the fact that he descends with the FBI is something that I'm going to keep in mind as an astrologer. You can say that you think that, I think that it's possible that he could have went to the neighborhood, the new construction, had an accident. I think that that's plausible. But as an astrologer, looking at the different agencies and he has these desires. His desires are a 314. Those desires oppose the state of Tennessee. Not oppose Tennessee, but let me just show you. Let me just show you Tennessee, because this is important that we look at these connections, because the connections in our life, when you're meeting somebody, oh my God, it just feels like I've known you forever. Well, it's because you have a connection. You have a degree in your chart that matches that person. And, y'all are connecting. We're all connected. Everything is connected. We are the mycelium. So the state of Tennessee, this 314, this is in the 5th house of kids. This 314 is the state of Tennessee transformation with values, with money, with the resources, with the earth's resources. This 314 is where he is transformed. Oh, shoot. This is where he is transformed. In the fifth house of kids, the way he creates. And what did he create? A toxic environment with ammonia. Where is that 314? Right here. This is his desires. This is Cupid. It's a 314 in Libra. That's about the law. It's about justice. That's going to go southwest. Just it's going to go completely south of Sebastian's home and just a tad bit to the west, southwest. It's really pretty much going straight down from Stafford Court. Where the vehicle is allegedly seen, putting someone in the car and such. That's his Mars. His Mars is there on the map, just right there. So I can't unsee. And if he would know, if it's possible that he knows what happened to Sebastian, then we know that Katie and Chris and, the whole gang, they know. So not only is he connected to the FBI, he's definitely, no matter what time he's born, he's definitely connected to Tennessee. And he is connected to Tennessee through his desires and how he creates. But this is also children too. Also children. At what point will the FBI descend with him? Or have they? Have they? I don't know. Because the FBI, let me just pull it up and show you once again that this is where his burden. Admitos is a burden. It's a breakup. I've seen it. When it comes across you, you may be breaking up. Not that y'all won't get back together, but you might be breaking up for a hot minute until that energy subsides. So the FBI and Terry, this is where Terry is descending with the FBI. And there's a breakup with communications at some point in time. His burden, there's going to be this breakup. When's it going to come? I don't know. But that's where he is connected. Katie, she also has that 2542. Let me just show you her chart real quick. Don't know if this is for sure what time she was born. But, I think I already have her pulled up. Not sure that this is exactly what time she's born. This is what's on public records. But it's interesting that if you do take a look at her and the FBI, and you remember that, Terry is descending at that 2542. Where's she at? Where'd she go? There she is. So I've already looked at her again this morning. And let's just go ahead and pull up the FBI because we know that they have that 2542. But look, no matter what time Katie's born on August 23rd, 1989, she has a magnetism. She is magnetized with health, with the health factor to the FBI. This is a non-mover. It's going to be the same degree all day. She is born with a fate, just like Terry Bowersox is born with a fate that connects to the FBI. Is it just through conversations and, woulda, coulda? I don't know. I don't know. But this is, I think that it's something that we have to take into consideration, that she is connected to the FBI through magnetism of health. She holds the health factor at her home with Sebastian. You don't look for what's lost. I mean, you don't look for what's not lost. If Sebastian isn't lost to her, she's not going to look. That's the evidence that I'm talking about of behavior. That's the evidence. Behavior is evidence to me. So the FBI, where she is magnetized to the FBI, is going to be found here in their 11th house of groups, how they bring in money with their peers, their hopes and wishes and dreams for the future. And that is where she is magnetized, right here. And it's opposing the goddess of war, the burden, the weight of Pisces. And it's about acceptance and endings, prisons and hospitals, water, ocean, flooding, spirituality, with the house of kids. She is magnetized here, opposing their creativity and their children, their kids, their house of kids, the way that they create. I mean, it is what it is. I have a 2542 in my chart. And it's with Gemini. It's where I receive information, and Sag. I receive information here in the 3rd house of communications. I receive information here about home, a higher learning, a long travel, the courts. So that is how I'm connecting. Now let's look at Chris, because the way that Chris connects to the FBI, no matter what time he is born, and of course, again, I'm only going on the public record, so I could have their birthday wrong, and if I am and I'm in error, then I'll apologize in advance. And the FBI. So Chris and the FBI. So no matter what time he is born, hold on. It is no matter what time, but he's going to be born at this time. I can guarantee you that. So it does matter. So if he's born at 4:45, let's go up here. If he is born, let's just say he is born at 3:44. That 3:44 was in transit when he went missing, 0007. Let me look at that. Hold on. He may. Let me go back to Terry. Terry is magnetized at a 0007. So Chris could be. Hold on. Chris could be. This would make him have an opposition with Nina. He would get a conscious raising experience with Ice. 3, the 3rd house of communications. This would make him connected to Mexico and Israel. And his Venus, his values and possessions and money. And the health of Sebastian would be with Terry. And then the moon at a 611 would go to Indiana and Bryant Guy. So that's possible. It's possible that he would not be connected to the FBI through that magnetism. And he would have to be born after 10 o'clock. This may be more like it because he is going to be at a 3:53 with this relationship. He's going to be connected to Heather Cohen. And he would still be connected to the ascendant of Mexico here. And the 2540, the communications and the media, would be where he would talk for Katie at the 2542, right there. And he would still be connected to Heather, because no matter what time Heather is born, she has this 353 in her chart. I have the 353 in my chart. So does Tony. That would be more like it. And that 349 could even go to the state of Tennessee and or Homeland Security. So that would be Tennessee, but this would be Homeland Security with Mars. And then that 2144 with his magnetism, if it's 2144, then this is where the FBI has pain. They share pain. And so I want to talk about Pallas coming to this degree. Pallas is on her way. She's making her way to Sebastian's 2148 Aquarius Neptune in the third house of communications. And this is the day that I want to observe with him. 2148. We don't have long to wait either. This is where we're going to dissolve some things. This is going to be a good day to observe, because it's not just going to connect to him, but it's going to be the same exact degree. July 12th, 10 o'clock. And this is going to be where Juno finally moves off that 1614 that he and Trump share. So on the 11th, the 10th, oh, she's at a station there. The 9th, she's in retrograde. And the 8th, that's today. So Juno is about to station. It's going to be intense with the relationship. And we do see that Uranus is at a 004. The 007, we know for a fact that that is Terry Bowersox on the 9th. Terry Bowersox is going to be shaken up. Hopefully with the FBI, there's going to be a lot of energy going to the lunar nodes of, oh yeah. Okay, hold on. There's so much right here. And then the 10th, that's when Katie is weighed, she's weighed down on the 10th. There's a divine justice that's just come over Terry. He's warring. So much warring going on with him. Let's see. So the 12th is the 2148. Let's go. Let's look at Sebastian. Hold on. I'm going to duel it out so I can talk this out. There he is. And then I'll talk about Summer. What I've been seeing with her. No, this is 12th. Okay, so on the 12th, Sebastian, his Neptune in the third house of communications, childhood friends, cousins. There is something here with networking, with video. There's something here that we need to dissolve. Neptune requires us to see things clearly. We have to dissolve to see clearly. So Juno is going to finally move off of his Vulcan at a 1614. You know, that's where the dark moon was when he went missing. It was at a 1614 between 1 and 3 a.m. 1 and 3:30 a.m. There was a lot that was taking place with Sebastian's health. Point blank, period. Period. So we have this 2148. There's a wake-up call. There's a wake-up call surrounding the things that are hidden with the communications, with videos. with networking with Sebastian. The lunar nodes have already left the 2117 that the TBI has. They're going to be fated during this time. There's going to be a lot of warring that is coming to Steve Fisher on this day. I can promise you that. I can promise you. Write it down. Write it down. Let's see. I see Layla a lot in this one. But okay, so let me show you something. During this period of time, when it hits Sebastian, let's look at the angle, the aspects, because I want to see what's happening here. It's conjunct the moon. So the moon is reflective. The moon is going to come over the north node of fate with his sister. It's going to come over our communications. It's also going to go over, the moon is going to go over the Chiron, and eventually the moon is going to go over the 2148 because the moon is in Aquarius. And it's about things of the past. About things of the past, prisons and hospitals, things that with the past. It could also be about homelessness, being homeless. It's fated with the sun. So the sun is at a 2059, coming into a 21 degree in Cancer. And the fifth house of home, fifth house of kids, fifth house of creativity. It's at a home. We're talking about home. We're talking about family. We're talking about land. We're talking about genealogy. We're talking about family, real estate. It's opposing Mercury. So it's opposing the media. It's opposing the media at a 1433 in the sixth house of health in Leo. Is about kids, children, school. The 2934, now that is California. There's something here that the media, the chatter, is opposing. He's being opposed by a personal planet in the sixth house of health, his everyday. It's a says it's square to Jupiter, so it's not a full-on square. It's just kind of a square. And that is where Jupiter is expanding communications at home with the investigation, with this wake-up call from the past right here. It's square Juno. So Juno is going to be squaring Pallas. And Juno has just moved off of that 1614 that he has with Vulcan. God's will is being done. Major issues with the relationship here in the ninth house. And the ninth house is about flight. It's about a quick movement. It's about river. It's about religion, philosophy, long travels, another country, immigration. It's in a good standing with Hygeia at a 1639. That 1639 has just left the 1638, how California shines at home. It's fated with the south node where he's been before. He's been somewhere before, so it's fated. The 2116, that is, again, there's a lot that's happening with the TBI. If they are concentrated on Sebastian on this day, trying Zeus. So it's in a good standing with Zeus. The magnetism, where's Zeus at? Right there at a 2358, moving forward in Libra. It's about the justice, relationships, contracts. So that is happening on July 12th. That's Saturday evening. But I want you to see something. There's a divine justice here at a 916, and I need to see how she's aspecting other things too. All right, so we're going to get back to that. This 916. Let's go back to Katie, because I want to show you that no matter what time she's born, she has a 916 Hades. The weight of the communications, the weight of the ring cameras, the weight of chatter. It's a 916. That means that Astria, the badass justice, divine justice, is going, no matter where this is. It could be here. The 916 could be here. It's a non-mover. That 916 is going to be opposed at that moment with Astria. So all her problems with the courts, with the justice, with the long travels, all of that, there's a justice here. And let's see how that's aspecting. It's going to be in a good standing with Mercury. So even though it's opposing Mercury and the media and everything, it's opposing Sebastian, it's in good standing with her problems. Her problems are being opposed by Venus. Venus is at a 925 in Gemini. 925 in Gemini. In the third house of communications, Astri is going to be fated with Jupiter. There's a fate here with home and family and mom, long travels, going somewhere far. There's an expansion with Jupiter. It's in a good standing with Ceres. So Astria, the divine justice, this is about, we've seen it with fires, with planes, with combustion. We've seen Astria show up and show out. I mean, Astria was in an opposition with Hygeia when that Texas flood took place. She is not one to be ignored, for sure. So she is in a good standing with Ceres. Ceres is at a 1421. But what's going to happen is the 1425 that she has, that Katie has, there's going to be a lot of energy with it with 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. So I really am going to be observing what is happening July 12th, where it's happening, what's going on with the weather, what's going on with, just anything and everything. I'm going to be observing that. It's in a square with Trans-Pluto. Trans-Pluto is a collective transit. Trans-Pluto is here at a 349, and that 349 is Homeland Security. And then the 349 is going to come to the 350 with the state of Tennessee and Sebastian, because he has that 350 connection with the state of Tennessee. So there's a lot to see here. This is a big transit for Sebastian to get this wake-up call with Neptune. It's fated with Saturn. His Neptune is fated with Saturn at a 2113. And so I want to show you that the fate with whatever is happening, whatever we can uncover to see clearly, whatever it is, the lunar nodes of fate are coming to the 2113 with his Saturn, where Neptune, Pallas is fated with. And in his natal, it's fated. And let's look at the South Node here, because that's where the South Node is going to sit. South Node is going to sit here, and it's about his public image and health and home and drugs and water and things that are hidden with Pisces that we have to see clearly, especially that shakes him up. He gets these shakeups. So Pallas is going to be, like I said, it's going to be fated with the sun. Sun is going to be shining at home. and it's fated with the south node. So we have a fate here that's coming into fruition. And what I want to do is I want to show you once again, and I've already shown y'all this before. I just think that we need to go it again. Just remind you, make sure that I've got it documented, that this 2116 is going to come and sit on his Saturn 2113. So the fate comes across the TBI first. And it's going to be right here, July 13th, the very next day. Let's see when it gets to it. Let's see when it gets there. Good morning, Angel. Right there. Hold on. So this is going to take place Sunday around 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Right there. And there's still a transformation with Homeland Security. July 13th in the afternoon. $16.52. Okay, hold on. So the south node is going to sit there. It's where he's been before, where we've been before. And it's in a good standing with the sun. Leaving past inhibitions behind. At a 2141, it's coming to that 2148 with the Neptune, the things that are hidden at home with family. We can see that Jupiter is expanding this 743. Now let's think about this. Hold on. I'm going to come back to this. Hold on. 743. So at this moment, Jupiter is expanding the things that are hidden at home at a 743. Now, let me go back to Terry Bowersox because I'll be recognizing this. Let's have him at that 743. Let's have him at that 743. If it'll go there. And it does, and it's in the 5th house of kids. Let's go ahead and have him at that 1425 with Katie and the moon here in the 5th house of kids. Okay. Now. So he has his Saturn at a 743 here, and his dark moon will be at a 753. This means that he would be having a midheaven and an IC that's connecting to the TBI. Okay, so that's 3:41 a.m. Let me just go ahead and change that because I want to show you 3:41 a.m. It's either going to be a 742 or 743. I mean, Saturn isn't moving that quick that day that he's born. So here we go. Terry and the 13th, because things are taking place. Things are taking place with Sebastian's case on this day. And it just so happens that his Saturn is going to be expanded. Limits and obstacles expanded. And so this could go back to what Kelly was asking. Could he have went missing from his home? There is something here with Terry Bowersox. And so if I look at it, we know that the 753, Jupiter is going to expand this dark moon as well. It's going to expand the dark moon as well. With endings, hospitals, prisons, drugs, things of that nature. Water, ocean. That would make more sense that he would be born with Saturn here, slowing him down. Interesting. And the 1518 would have already went over the connection that he and his wife had at a 1515. It's about the health, the vehicle, going somewhere, taking Sebastian somewhere. I don't know. Let me pull up Homeland. I know that that's going to be a day for Homeland as well. And it could be with Sebastian. It may not be. Let's look at oh, I know. I mean, that's all we can do is just try to make sense of the things that that just doesn't make sense to us. It makes zero sense that he could have walked out that house and no cameras caught him. And again, there's going to be a massive, okay, so Kathy, let's look at her for a second and see, because I see that there is a 1652 these collective transits. Let me just look at this for a second. Her Neptune is a 1516 in hide money. I think that if they would just follow the money trail, there's got to be something. If that is, if they had anything to do with Sebastian going missing. We just don't know. I know that I'm going to receive information on this day, though. I know it. I can see it. So Juno is going to be moving forward. $16.52. So Mars has opposed her flame of life. Let me see. Jupiter. There's something here. And I don't know what time she's born, so I'm going to move off of her. Let me look at Chris with this one. Hey, little Miss Sharon. Hey, honey. Glad to see y'all in here. Hope you're doing good this morning. We don't know what time he's born. I would say Jupiter. I would say that these would be in his fifth house of kids, though. It would be more over here. And Ceres would be up here. But he is highly connected to Katie's past with her mother. Admetos is going to be opposing Jupiter, and I've got him right. I don't know. Jupiter will expand here. So this is a non-mover no matter what time he's born. So let's get Jupiter to that 751. Let's get Jupiter to that 751 because there's going to be a letting go value. 751, that's going to be probably the next day. Yeah. Right here. So when we first wake up, let's go ahead and get that to the 1515. Well, we know that that's where Terry and his mom connect. Now with the 350 is in transit. Mars is coming to that 1542. That is, of course, goes to Virginia and other states as well. And let's just go ahead and get it to that 1542. We're going to wake up with it on the 14th. There it is. And this is actually going to, let me show you Virginia's chart just so you know what I'm talking about. Right here. We are reflecting in that 655 that he and Terry Bowersox have. There is a conscious raising experience with a relationship. This is going to the lunar nodes of Mississippi. There's the 1517. So I'm going to get information. Okay, hold on. Right there. Right there. Let me show you what I'm talking about with, there could be things, I see somebody else and I don't want to say their name. That's July 14th. So on July 14th, let me show you Virginia. Let me see if I got Virginia up. No. Let me show you Virginia. Because this is going to be a day with Virginia as well. Not just Sebastian, but Virginia as well, because he is highly connected to Virginia. And let's look at this, because Virginia is in transit too today. You know, the 1542 with wisdom is in transit all day today. All day yesterday. And it's with Sebastian. But Mars will be coming here. As it hits Sebastian, it is hitting the investigation of the 6th house of health. They're every day. They're every day. This is the investigator. She brings a wake-up call, and it's about health. I'm looking to see where is the weight has already went over. A relationship with a child, with children, with publicity, with attention. The lunar nodes have already went over the wisdom. Jupiter has already expanded here. So there's a lot that's leading up to this day for Virginia. Whether or not Sebastian is there or not, I mean, that is what we're looking at, right? The moon is a 1614. So the relationship that Trump has that is in transit for the next 4 days with Sebastian too. But for Trump, there's definitely an opposition with the moon of Virginia. It's all about the Ken Burns and his documentary about the American Revolution being pretty much a civil war too. That documentary that's coming out on Veterans Day on November 11th. I spoke about that in the full moon in Capricorn. That's a major, it's major when it comes to the responsibility and accountability with our government. So just looking to see if there's anything else that I'm missing here. And what's going to happen is Mercury is going to come to this 1531. The 1531 is where they are transformed. Virginia is transformed with their life path, a lot of warring. The 1531 is also where Sebastian has his Cupid in Sag. The 1531 is the desires that he has for a higher learning. in Virginia or any other place or any other person that would have that 1531. And let's look at Mercury, because Mercury is a personal planet. Mercury is going to bring some media attention. And we can only hope that it could be about Sebastian too. Let's see, 1531. Okay, so Mercury's about to station. Let's go ahead and get it to the 1531. Here we go. It's going to be on the 16th. Mercury in Leo right here is about to be at that 1531. That's where we want to see it connect to Virginia and Sebastian. Right there. So it's like it already comes with the vertex. See right there, the vertex is at a 1531. There's the 1711. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Now we're getting somewhere. Let's go back to Kathy. Let's go back to Kathy on the 16th. And she has a Chiron that's a 1710. I think it's a 1711. I've got other charts for her, but I do think it's a 1711. I think she was born earlier than 11 o'clock. I think that it's a 1711. And her Chiron, the pain that she shares, is going to be opposed by Mars. The car, the vehicle, the warring. Yeah. And there's that 1433 showing up once again. The 1433 is showing up. So, it's a pattern now. We've seen that this pattern with the 1433 is showing up. So one of these people have it in their chart. Why do I say that? Well, because earlier, when I first started talking about the 2148 coming to Sebastian, there's an opposition with Mercury. While Katie is in transit being opposed. That Mercury is a 1433. Okay. And so when it comes to the 16th and this important transit with Mercury in the vertex, this is a collective transit at a 1433 with Hades. There's a weight of home with a relationship, partnerships. And look at that, the 0024. Let's go ahead and pull Sebastian back up. Yeah, this is a day. This is a day right here. Hold on. This might just bring it into fruition where we can really uncover more about this case, man. Let's look at this. So Sebastian has a 0024 in the third house. And this is what we have started talking about, is this third house and how we want to understand more about the things that are hidden with this Neptune. And the 0024 is up here. It's about the long travels. It's about school. It's about attention, publicity. And this is the video. This is the groups. This is the networking. This is where the state of Tennessee wars with we the people. Wars with communications and networking and cameras and videos and all of that. Well, what we're going to see is a relationship. What? Oh my God. This is okay. So July 16th is a day that we're going to see a lot. Hold up here. Hold up. Eric Craddock's going to be in transit all day. He has this 818. He's going to be in transit all day with desires for responsibility and accountability. And this is going to be a day for him for sure. So Kathy's going to be opposed by Mars. And then Mercury is going to come to that 1531 that is going to transform Virginia. Sebastian with the media, with a lot of attention. And this is Wednesday evening. This 2704 goes to the United States of America. It also goes to faith. Let me look at Craddock. Let me see. The lunar nodes are 2104. (1347). So Venus is here. Venus is here. 2440, 2440, 2443, 2446, 2558. Okay, let me go back. Let me go back to the 16th. Let me get that exactly. So we were at the vertex. So there's an intensity that's going to happen first. Once that intensity happens, then it hits the media. Right there. Right there. And look, there's that 742 that's popping up. There's information, and the information coming out is limiting Terry, limiting him. Going to be a lot of energy coming to Chris Proudfoot and Katie with Venus. Evidence possibly. Let's look. Hold on. Let me go back to Virginia. And then I'm going to show you Kathy, Virginia, and then Craddock. So we're going to learn something about the past with Virginia. The media is going to be transforming. And it could be that this could just be a day when it hits Virginia. Shit, that's not right. This could just be a day when it hits Virginia about the documentary that's coming out. I don't know. I don't know. Virginia. Now here it is. 1531, 1531. It's about the warring, the life path, how Virginia was created. That's what I'm thinking anyway. That's what I'm thinking. The moon is reflecting the warring, right? The moon is reflecting the warring. So the moon is actually going to pass over Sebastian's moon during all of this. During all of this. The sun is shining at a 2441. And so the sun is going to shine at the 2427, 2446. These 24s. But I've got there's that 19, there's that 916 again that she has. So there's a flame of life about the things that are hidden with the investigation and the law enforcement, possibly a park, possibly, the justice system. There's that 916 again. That's Katie, right? So we've got the 916 and the 1433 that is keep showing itself. Is that 208 Hawaii? Let me see what this is. This flame of life is doing here. How it's aspecting them. It's quincunx the moon, so it's faded with the moon. The things that have happened in the past with Sebastian. It's trine Jupiter at an 825 in Cancer. Of course, it's conjunct a relationship. That would be Kathy, I think. Let's go back. Let's look at Kathy with this. Good morning, Seth. So look, no matter what time she's born, she's got the wisdom. Poseidon is here at a 1619. Poseidon rules the oceans. 1619, 1619. There's a relationship here. There's a relationship. So here's Katie. Here's Kathy. Here's Craddock. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Let me show you. And this is if I have his birthday correct. If I have Craddock's birthday correct, then, you know, I'm trying to figure out what time he's born, but, you know, there's certain things that we can tell when we are investigating through the degrees is this right here. So his lunar nodes are going to be connecting to the fate that he has in this lifetime. He is fated with Chris and Katie. No doubt about it. Friend, foe, not whatever. He is fated with them. Okay? No matter what time he's born, he's going to be having this fate. It's possible that he doesn't have the 1614 that goes to, he doesn't shine where Virginia reflects. It could be that he has this 1619 in his chart. I don't know. But I do know that all of his problems, he has a lot of problems. And these problems that we have in our chart is Hades. Hades is hell. He has a Chronos that's 2056. It's all about the timing here with two people and the communications. And his Jupiter, he could definitely be born earlier in the morning, and his Jupiter could be a 540. It's either a 540, a 541, 542, 543. So we can see that he's definitely going to be in transit with the desires here. These desires with responsibility, structure, accountability, all of that. But these desires are being weighed down. They're weighed down by Hades. And you can see that Hades is at a red station. Let's just look at his chart. Let's go and look at his chart and see. 1 a.m. No matter what time he is born, okay, so it's not going to be a 1, it's not going to be a 540, it's going to be a 541. And I'm pretty sure that no matter what time Faith is born, she has a physician that is a 542. This is his public image about his communications. I would say that this is more like it right here. Let's go ahead and get that moon to the 1619. Let it be connected to Kathy. Yeah, and then there would be a divine justice with the 2706 with Sebastian. He would be highly connected to the FBI. And in the future, a wake-up call with the 250. Okay. All right. So I'm thinking that this is 6:02 a.m. But see, no matter what time he's born, his problems with communications, with Hades, with this hell, with the ring cameras and everything else, no matter what time he's born, this is at a station. That means that it's very, very intense. Very intense. And counseling would not be out of the question. A great idea. A great idea. So if we take that into consideration, let me look at this. His Mars is in Aries. He is definitely connected to the United States, Saturn. Eric Craddock, slows the United States down. Hygeia is going to come here. Yeah, so we are, no matter what time he's born, that's 1651. So $250. Who has that $250? You ask. Let's see. That 1433. And it could be anyone. Or it could even be a state or country. But we're going to see. I want you to mark it on your calendar, July 16th. July 16th. This 2704, it's hitting the United States. And then let's look back at Craddock. 2702, 2708. So 2702 to possibly, no. 2702, 2706 in Sag, Uranus, 25. Let's look back. Yeah. So pain. The boy is going to, he really does have problems speaking up. And then what we're going to see on the on the 17th. Let's see if that comes on the 17th. 2554. What he's learning is slowing him down. Craddock, that is. There's a shakeup with Sebastian on this day. It's just going to be a shakeup. There's a shakeup. It's going to be abrupt. And now Mercury is stationing at a 1532. Let's see. Mercury is going to come into that 1532 right here. And then it's going to station to go retrograde. That means it's going to go back. We're going to go back over this 1531 with Sebastian. See, Mercury is at the 1532 now. Now it's going to station before it goes retrograde. And once it goes retrograde, once it goes back in the past, Kathy, there's going to be a lot of attention on her. Going to be a lot of attention on her. Let's go ahead and get it there. Right there. So by the 17th, when we wake up, all attention is going to be on her. There's going to be information that is coming in. That 2056 that Craddock has is just giving him a wake-up call. Knock, dude. Knock. Knock. 246. Hold up. It's going to be a transformation. Hold on. There's the wake-up call with him. It's devouring energy with, and it's opposing Mercury. Wow. This would be interesting to see. July 17th. July 17th. That is Skylar's birthday. What else is happening on the 17th? What is happening on July 17th? July 17th. I know that let me look at Hawaii and Texas. me look at Hawaii and Texas just to see the moon. No. Hygeus, 209. Let me see. Hawaii. Where's Neptune? 208. Okay, so Hawaii would have already, Neptune would have already went over the third house of communications with Hawaii. Let me look at this real quick. Their midheaven is a 2145. This is where that Neptune would sit. It's right here. Okay, now let me look at Texas. All right, let me look at Texas here. And then I'm going to talk about summer. Don't want to leave a little summer out. Let's see, Texas. We know that all that stuff that just happened in Texas is so tragic that it will be popping in and out of conversation of the, let's see. Texas, 246. Their values, 246. That is what's going to be transformed. With Pluto on the 17th. So the 17th, Texas is going to be their values with home, with responsibility and accountability. That'll be a big one. Let's see. Information is coming in with Sebastian here. Information is coming in and it's expanding. And this is at 3:30 in the morning. I'm going to have to pull Melissa. I mean, damn. I'm pulling the whole family, I guess. Makes no sense, Melissa. Let's see. Hey, Deanna. Hey, honey. Melissa. She's got those 15s. Let's see. Melissa matches the DA. She matches the DA. Can't forget about that. Can't forget. There's going to be a justice coming to her physician. She definitely connects to Virginia here with the 2443, 255. Those could change. $937. So the flame of life is coming to oppose her. No matter what time she's born, she connects to the FBI as well, 1010. That's where they have their Saturn. Slow down. $937. So let's get the flame of life to that 937. Let's look at that opposition with her. 937. Let's go the next day. 935. 36. 37. There it is. Let's go back to Melissa. and the 18th. So this will be the 18th. Kathy is still in transit. The morning, Friday morning on the 18th, she's still in transit. We still see that Mercury is at a 1534. Mercury is stationing still. And then we can see that the 1804, that goes to Florida and Mexico. The 1804 is coming to the 1808, and that is where she connects to the DA, the district attorney. A lot of energy with the vehicle, the body with movement, with action. And the 2056 that Eric Craddock has, well, that's coming into transit as well. It's at a 2059. The lunar nodes are coming down to the 2056. This is such a fated time. And the Astrea is at an 856. She's coming down to the 854 with the physician that brings enlightenment to Melissa. And then Heather Cohen is going to be coming back into transit on the 19th. Oh, yeah. Let me look at this. The United States values are right there. This is a federal day, too. $244, 2041. $138. There's a relationship here. This is also a day that I see with summer, and I'm going to get into that because, woo, they're piggybacking as they always do. So this 2705 is coming to Sebastian's 2706. That is possible that he is connecting to Eric Craddock. Let's get that. Let's get those lunar nodes to Eric. Let's go ahead and do that. He's going to trip out on this day. He's going to trip out on this day. Look at that. There's a lot of energy going to the wound of Kathy. I'm sorry, the lunar nodes of Terry Bowersox. There's going to be a lot of energy coming to, is it going to be the Carolinas? Look at that, 2443, that's Virginia. Venus is coming to How California Shines. 27 is coming. So the sun and Chiron are going to square up, going to square Pluto. So the sun, and it's about what the things that have happened in the past. Yeah. Okay. Hold on. This is in the middle of the night that this is going to actually begin. Because after Mercury stations, Mercury's going to come back to that 1531, and there is Eric Craddock going to hold the fate. And there's the 854 again. Melissa. With Jupiter. And I'm just waiting on Mercury to come to that 1531 once again, right there. That's in the 5th house of kids. Mars has already given him an intense experience. There's a divine justice. This divine justice with the courts and the DA with, look at that, the 16, 18. Oh, okay. Okay, hold on. 1829. So Mars is going to hit that 829 where Sebastian has an intense experience. And then here, the 1829 is going to come into transit. And guess what? There's that 1619 once again with Kathy Bowerstocks. It's about the values, it's about the communications and the ring camera. There's an opposing force with the United States. This is a federal day, federal time with their values. And there is a shakeup. There's a shakeup at home. Their Uranus is in 855, and it's going to shake things up at home because it's in Cancer. The values, money, things of that nature with the government. And then there goes that energy that's going to come to her and Terry. 854, 16. It's gonna there where he's already been. Where Craddock has been before with the communications. The values of Sebastian is wounded. And I still don't think that Sebastian is deceased. I think that there's people that know where he's at. And I hope I'm right. I hope I'm right. The flame of life is definitely coming to Katie. She has the 940s. Let's look at that. That way you can see what I'm saying. Katie's, that's a 948. And then let's look at Katie. This flame of life right here. In the 7th house of relationships and partnerships, the things that are hidden. There's her sister-in-law, that 948. Well, Katie, where'd she go? Right here. Hold on just a second. Hello? Hey. Yep. I am. No. I mean, yeah. Can't hear you. Okay. All right. It looks like we are learning something about Virginia right now. And there's a lot of warring. Yeah. I think so. I think so because I didn't realize until the other day that they are warring with other agencies and they are warring with the Federal Emergency Management Association. Are you thinking Secret Service? I mean, warring with other agencies. Are you thinking Secret Service? Like which ones? Okay, let me pull them up. But yeah, I'm still live. All right. Okay. All right, I'm pulling the TBI up. I'll look at that. All right, later. Sorry, y'all. So I got a phone call wanting me to look at these agencies, thinking that there's TBI transits right now. We know that the FBI is warring. We know that the FBI is warring. Jupiter is going to expand here. That's definitely coming. Jupiter is going to make contact here. We're definitely learning something about Virginia right now. Right now. Let me look at this for a second. Venus. Venus is here. The flame of life is coming to oppose the TBI. I know that they are working on all these cases, that I'm talking about. I know that they're working on all these cases. Know that for a fact. That's where it is. Okay, look. The fifth house of kids, creativity. This 2238 is shaking things up with their values of the past, the evidence that they would have from the past. Let me see what Pallas is doing right now. It's in good standing with the moon. Mercury is here in their fourth house. So we can assume that Mercury, the media, will be with their investigations at home. It's in good standing with the moon. The moon is here with the hidden investigations, the long travels, the church, the religion, the investigations. 134, 133. There's going to be a letting go of information tomorrow from the TBI. It should be tomorrow. It could be today, but there's going to be a letting go. You see, Sedna is at a 133, and they have information that comes in and goes out at a 134. So that's going to be coming in transit. There is things happening. Hold up. Okay, I'm not going to go off on that tangent, but there's a case. There's an opposition with her this morning. Hold on. So Venus is right here. Venus is at the 2238 right now. It's Quincunx Vulcan. So there's a fate at a 23 degree in Cancer. Vulcan is here. And then once they receive this information, once the TBI receives this information and gives it out, there's a letting go of, there's going to be an expansion with communications. And it could be, that they're hiring, or I don't know. I don't know what's going on with the TBI, but Mars is now here in the fifth house of kids, the way that they create. And like I said, there's so much happening with Layla Centinello's case. It's not even funny. It's not even funny. Things are closing in on that case, I think. I hope. Let me look at Eris with the FBI. let me look at the Marshals. No, Homeland. Let me look at Homeland. Because Homeland keeps popping up too. Let me see if they're in transit right now. If there's a Homeland Security issue with Sebastian's case, then we know what that means. I mean, we should. Homeland. Homeland 2656, 634. There it is. So, okay, so it's about the moon. It's about the moon. It's about children right now that we're looking at. Look at that. Jupiter is expanding communications here in the ninth house of long travels, immigration, another country. The 634, well, that's their moon degree. That's their moon degree. So I'm thinking that that's possible. It's very possible because Sebastian is continuously showing up. Oh, shoot. Their lunar node is in 857 right now. And, when it shakes things up, that's right. They have that 0024 too. Let's go back. Good God Almighty. Let's go back. Where's that 0024 that's hitting Sebastian? Because it's also going to hit Homeland Security. This will be a Homeland Security day. So let's go back and look. Where were we at? Let's go back. There it is. Okay, so the 16th and Homeland. It's just connections, that they have in their chart that connect. And it doesn't mean that there is a Homeland Security issue with Sebastian's disappearance. It just means that it's possible. It's possible. And I think that we should keep all possibilities in our mind and not think one way or another because we just don't know. We just don't know. So I remember talking about this. Yes, I do. I do remember talking about this in another live because what is happening is once the lunar nodes of fate go over the TBI, then they're going to come to Homeland Security. Then they are going to come to Sebastian's Saturn. And so it could be that these connections that are showing up with Sebastian is about the ransom, another country, another place, hidden money, hidden taxes, hidden things are hidden. And there is a devouring energy with relationships to say, hey, go to the home, go to, you know what I'm saying? Like we need to be at the house. We need to be at the new construction, what have you. Right. So let me look at, so the divine justice is going to come down to their lunar nodes of fate once this shakeup comes in. We're going to see a shakeup on this day. Okay. We are going to see a shakeup on the 16th. We just are. We're going to see the shakeup, and it's going to be with Homeland as well. A shakeup with Homeland, a shakeup with Sebastian. What else can we tell? Venus is going to come and oppose their Pluto. We've got a lot of Homeland Security issues going on right now. Jupiter is expanding, so we are learning and teaching and understanding with this energy that Jupiter is blessing us with about the moon, kids, schools, attention, things that are hidden at homes, schools. 857, 928, 928 Homeland Security. Hold on. 928 Homeland Security. $928. $929. 29. Okay. So 857. Go back to the 16th, 857. That's what we want to see. So it's going to hit Homeland before it hits, but there's going to be something that hits Homeland Security before it actually opposes the United States of America. This is a big day. This is just going to be a big day. Right there. The 17th, the 17th. $840. That's going to be about Sebastian right there. This is the public image. That's the public image of Homeland. There's the 1808. Again, that's the DA. That's Melissa. We're going to go back to Homeland on the 17th. So this is going to be a day. The 16th and the 17th are days that we really, really need to observe. And then the next day, I think on the 18th, is when Heather, I mean, even though she's not on Sebastian's case anymore, she still shows up in the transits. And I take note, not this day, so the 19th. The 19th, she's going to show back up, and look at that. The physician is going to station. The 2706, this is the values that is still on Sebastian. The lunar nodes have already passed over Craddock. And then look, the 1902, we're coming into a lot of warring, a lot of action with the state of Tennessee, the FBI, the marshals. Right there. That's at 1 a.m. That's at 1 a.m. I've seen this before. I've seen it before. Could it be a tip that's submitted? I don't know. I don't know. So let's look at it from the 17th to the 20th. There's going to be a wake-up call with the relationship with the TBI. Yep, there's a tip that's coming in about Sebastian, or a tip that has already come in about Sebastian. The sun is shining on all of his problems at home that are hidden. Chris is in transit. I see this. Yeah, he is. There's an intensity happening here. So let's go ahead and get this to the 1256 with Virginia and Massachusetts, because they have a connection. And of course they would, right? Why wouldn't Virginia and Massachusetts have a connection? Think about it. Think about our history. Why wouldn't they? They do. This is a big day. This is a big day, big day, big day. 2. There's an opposition with the United States. There's a darkness over a relationship with the state of Tennessee here. Hold on. Now, let's get it to that 1256. The dark moon. I'm going to receive information during this time. Man, the dark moon is going slow. It's going to take place on the evening, late evening on Sunday, the 20th. Let me just look at this. Divine justice with Kentucky there. Chiron is off of Sebastian. But let's look at that 916 one more time. Because that's with Katie. Right there. Venus at 1808. Relationships, we are reflecting communications. We're reflecting communications with the DA, with Melissa, with Faith on the 20th. Reflecting. And then Mars is coming to that Saturn. Let's go ahead and look at that. Let's look at the Mars when it comes to Sebastian Saturn. There it is. 2113. It's going to be the 23rd. Ice is going to be in transit at 355. That's their lunar nodes of fate. Right there. There's media attention on the things of the past with Tennessee. Look at that. Look at that. Huh. Jupiter is coming to oppose Chris on the 23rd. Things are going down with Tennessee. This is at Wednesday morning, July 23rd. A lot of transformation. 848. 848. So the TBI is already in transit. There's California. There's a relationship with California there. Let's go back to that 8. Ooh. So all the agencies are going to be in transit on July 23rd. All of them. The FBI, the TBI, and guess who else has this 811? John. John. Y'all remember John, right? There's a weight over Faith today. There's that 1433 showing back up. That 1433 is showing back up. John. Let's just pull him up, Al. John. Katie's friend. Or ex-friend or Lori's ex. John, where's he at? Because no matter what time he's born, he has that degree, which is true. Where's he at? John. Let me pull Katie because I think I've got it under Katie too. And I have a lot of Johns in my database. I have a lot of Johns. There it is, John. Let's see. He has this degree, and he went to the UK. He went to the UK after or before, I don't know, but he went to the UK at some point in time. He has a breakup with these agencies at 811. And look, he's got a 1432. I think I found it. I think I might have found it here. Let me look. Let's look. This is at 10:41 p.m. Let me see if I can get him to that 1433. Let me see if that non-mover, as I call it, would move. Let's take him back to 12:40 a.m. or something and see if it's staying the same. Yeah, it's a 1432. Okay, so we know Interesting. Look at that, 1434. So maybe that's it. Maybe it's actually with Palace, with the Groose, with astrology. And Mercury is coming to oppose that. Look at that. It's staying 1434. 1434. Now it's a 1433. And it stays 1434 until the evening. So if he is born in the evening, look at that, 2054. Let's go ahead and get it to the 2056. It's right there. So the 2056 is going to connect to who? Craddock. 1434. Let's go ahead and get that to the 1433. Either way, Mercury is coming to oppose. That's the challenge. That's the challenge. That's the challenge. For me, anyway. That's the challenge. Let's go ahead and get this relationship to the DA and to Melissa. You see what I'm saying? We can look at this in different ways. Mercury at a 538. Well, if he's connected to Little Faith, it's definitely going to be a 542. Mercury would be a 542. And this is his public image. He would be connecting to Seth here. Connecting to me here. And the lunar nodes would connect to Chris. Let's see. How his palace. It's opposing Mars, right? So it's opposing Mars. It's squaring Uranus, squaring Chiron. Ooh. Look at that. We know that during the missing event, this degree was in transit. This degree is also going to be connected to Terry. 1811. 1811. I'm just studying these so I can see. And we know he went to the UK. There's a breakup with these agencies. And, you know, this has happened before where Cupid comes over, or let me see, is it Cupid? That 811, 1250, 2056. This is going to be connected to him as well on July 17th. And then that's going to come down on the 23rd to John and the agencies on July 23rd. $14.42. We know that he's going to be opposed. We just know it. I mean, he's going to be opposed on the July 22nd. And that is where there's a breakup with the agencies here. Let me look at the UK. And then there's going to be a lot of energy going to the sun of Sebastian and Virginia. Look at that, 1541. 1542, we're in the past here. There's already been a divine justice with the TBI. I'll have to look at Virginia with this. The 1050, there's a flame of life with Sebastian and his health and world health. We would be traveling far. Jupiter is coming to oppose Katie. Okay, let's look. I mean, let's just look at the UK. Am I being dreamy? Maybe. I think I've got it in England, even though I know UK is not England, but it's just for me to remember. It's just for me to remember. And me and I have to search through all the UKs that I've got. I mean, that are spelled with a UK, and everything with the spelling of a UK is going to pull up. It's going to be massive. Let's look at the UK on the 23rd. Let's look at this and see if there is anything at all that we can tell. So the way that Melissa connects to the FBI is a 1010. They have it in Aries. The FBI does. She has it in Cancer. Well, the sun, the way that the UK shines, opposes her, opposes her. And we can see that Saturn is at a 150. It has just left the 151. The public image of the UK with Jupiter, with the laws, with the immigration, with the long travels going to there. Okay. So 150. So Saturn will have already opposed the one, and Saturn has. Okay, Saturn has already opposed the UK, and it's going to come back and oppose the UK again with the shakeup about the freedom, the Revolutionary War. Okay, that's kind of what is in transit right now. It's all of this talk about the Revolutionary War. So what else can we see here? We can see that they also connect to the United States at that 1604 that I've been talking about. They have a 2705 that is going to be wounded, and it's about the way that they create. It's also children. 23, 26, 1252. Let me look at this for a second. See, this is coming to Virginia, though. It's coming to Virginia. How are y'all doing today, anyway? How's it going? Are y'all learning anything? Are y'all following me? Have I got you confused by switching back and forth to charts? Are we on the same wavelength here? I can tell that this 2053 is going to come. The Venus is coming to Eric. Venus is coming to Eric. We know he wants a raise, or that's what we've been hearing. So y'all are following me. Okay, April says yes. She's following along. All right. Good deal. See, Seth has this in his chart times 2. Seth has this 23, 21 in his chart times 2. And it also goes to Alaska. It goes to Alabama. But it also goes to the UK. God. And let me just say, they are connected. The UK is highly connected to Israel. Highly connected to the agencies within some of these other countries. Highly connected to California as well. United States, of course. I don't see. But I am going very fast. On the 24th, there's going to be a breakup. Okay, cool. Thank you, Jeff. Saturn is going to come here first. And then there's going to be a letting go with the FBI and their connections with Kathy. I'm still seeing Virginia. There's an opposition here. There's definitely an opposition with John and the media. The networking, there's an opposition with Katie at the same time. The same time. 2644, 2645. So learning. The ninth house. Long travels. It's faded with the 2044. And see, he has a Saturn at a 21 degree. Well, that's where Sebastian's Saturn is at a 21 degree in Virgo as well. Divine Justice 1758 in, let's go ahead and duel him out with UK, because we know he's been to the UK, so he should be connected to the UK, right? Oh, little Miss Sharon. Bless it. Get you some rest, sweetheart. So they have a 1758. Vulcan is a 1757 here. So I could even make it to that 1757. So he would be born earlier. But we can't, when we look at Terry Bowersox and we see his connection with the FBI, and then we look at John's and we see his connection with not just the FBI, but the TBI, the other agencies, Homeland, when we see that, we've got to, there's a breakup here. It's with values and money, things of possession. Hard to not see that. We know that his Saturn is right there with Sebastian's. So he could definitely have the 1757, the Divine Justice. '23, 21, 23, 22. Let's look. Hold on. So that should be a 1757 with that connection. Of course, he could shine at a 1733, but yeah, I'm going to move off of that. I do have 929. That's where he would, the values with home and the child, or the publicity, the Mars, the car, the vehicle, this going far. There's could be, he could have that connection with Terry Bowersox where Terry wars with him. That's possible. He could also have a 931 in his chart that would connect to Sebastian, but I just don't. 613. I don't think so. But I'm gonna remember this because we need to remember that. Well, let me go ahead and pull up Lori while I'm at it. Don't know what time. I'm not sure that these people are born on this time. It's just what public records has shown me. And just trying to see what we can see. How this is all going to play out. I would say that she's probably connected to the TBI Venus. Let's go ahead and change her chart right there. She's probably going to be connected to that 2238 that's in transit right now with a wake-up call with the investigation. Let's go ahead and get that to the 2238. Let's see if it goes to the 2238. It doesn't. It doesn't. So the 2238 that's in transit, it would come over her first and then go to the Venus. Uh-huh. Then it would go to the Venus. Okay. His lunar nodes are going to be connected to her Jupiter, and his lunar node, John's lunar node that's connected to her Jupiter, is connected to, of course, Chris Proudfoot. $153. That would connect to the UK. That's where she teaches us about her husband being in the UK. Uranus is going to come to the 0027 after it leaves Sebastian on the 24, the 0024 in Homeland. So yeah, it's coming. So this is where we're going. I mean, that's what we're seeing. That's what we're seeing, y'all. Okay, now that I've got that under because look, there's Saturn out of 154. Yeah. So we're going to be rehashing, going back over John and Lori, their relationship with Chris and Katie. That's what we're doing. That's exactly what it is, because she's got a lot of problems in Gemini. Her problems in Gemini, this mental health, these problems that she has with two people, or the communications with us, or what have you. This 0028. Let's see. Will it go? Hold on. Will it go to the 27? Let's see. That way we can be sure to see what's up and how this is expressing itself with her. Not saying that she had anything to do with it, or the John or UK, or nothing about it. Venus is going to be at a 00. It could be the 21 with Sebastian. It could be the 24 with Homeland, right? This would make more sense. Yeah. Yeah, something is, they're going to be all in the transits for sure. Okay, so it will only go to the 0027 late. And that's possible. Okay, so the 27 or 28, that's where we're going to see the communications and the problems come to light with her. So it's either a 27 or a 28. And Uranus is going to shake it up. Uranus is going to shake it up. I would say let's just shake her up in the morning of Friday morning on July 18th. Because Venus is going to come and oppose that 1531 with Sebastian and Virginia. Venus is going to come. She's opposing his values, his desires, Sebastian's desires. And that's where she's going to be shaken up in the public eye. Right there. And if I'm not mistaken, Lori, she's got different addresses. Okay. So she's got different addresses. You can see that there's going to be a lot of warring on this day with them. She has different addresses. Let me pull up Arizona, because Arizona is one of them. God, I've been talking so much. Jesus. I mean, when do I not? You know, as soon as I start, it just keeps on coming. Because I'm in the rabbit hole, you know? I mean, this is what it's like. I mean, it's just, shoot. Arizona is definitely in an opposition with, okay, they're definitely in an opposition. Their weight, this weight is in an opposition with the state of Tennessee. Let me look at this for a second. 1353. There's a lot of energy going here with, and yeah, Arizona, the groups, this shakeup that opposes the state of Tennessee. Let me see if Sebastian, yeah, see his vertex is at 0021. There's the 2704 that goes to the United States. Arizona opposes the United States at a federal level. And they do bring the shakeup when the Uranus returns at anything that's an 855. Things are going down with Arizona. Anytime I talk about the Uranus of the United States, I also need to talk about Arizona. 2141. $21.47. So the vertex is definitely intense with Sebastian. $5.53. She could have the 1650. Then yeah, she could be connecting with Mercury to the moon. 2444. 2440. Yeah, I think that's what's happening. Yeah, because she has an address in Arizona, a past address. I don't know if it's I don't know. I don't know where the girl lives, but she does have a past address, and I always put the past addresses on the map. So they shine at a 2444, and their lunar nodes of fate is at a 2444. We know that Mercury, okay, so where's Mercury right now? Mercury right now is at a 1210. So Mercury has already opposed Arizona, and we see that we are learning about Virginia and Arizona. Virginia is in transit now, and then Arizona is going to be in transit as well right after. This 432, this is where me and Sebastian connect. I connect through World Health with astrology, and he connects there with a lot of timing that comes in with the things that are hidden at home or at a home. Definitely some expansion here with homeland still. Lots of energy with the 1338. 1338. Let's look at Arizona with the transits right now. Who is that guy that does the woodworking? A friend or relative? Doesn't he have some type of work truck? I have no idea who the friend is that does woodworking. I don't know, Angel, for you. I don't know that the answer to that question. So Mercury has opposed Mercury in the ninth house. Groups are being opposed by the state of Tennessee, Tennessee's wisdom, and Arizona's, I would say Arizona's group home, group school, church group. What else? This is in opposition with the state of Tennessee. Tennessee and Arizona oppose one another in various ways, and this is one of them. This 0050 is in opposition with Tennessee, and it could be about their homeless camps. There's definitely this opposition here. Jupiter is at a 1210 in the seventh house of relationship. This is where we are expanding. 1210. That's exactly where Mercury is now. Right now, Mercury is there. They rise at a 254. 254 in Gemini and descend at a 254. Where is, hold on. 254, 258. They learn at a 1208. Things of the past. So Arizona is learning things today. There's a lot of things that they are learning that is opposing Mercury in the media and any type of communications, any type of cameras, videos, what have you. Arizona is being opposed. 258, 254. Let's look at that. 258. $21.30 is the lunar nodes. The lunar nodes have already left the fifth house of kids, wisdom. It was a fate that has just come over Arizona. After it left Chris and the FBI, it comes here. There's an opposition here with faith. Faith has an opposing force here with Pluto and the transformation and the rebirthing of death, communications, things of that nature. Let's look. I can guarantee you right now, I see Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz is being shaken up right now with communications and rebellion. 254. 254. What day is that going to be? 254. 251. Let's go back. This is coming. So this is Friday. Friday. Wow. The lunar nodes are coming over summer. And then there's the flame of life at an 810. It's going to oppose John and the agencies on July 11th. There's an opposition with him. And look, Mercury is coming. Mercury is no longer, let's see, Mercury is coming to oppose. There is the transformation with Mexico. All day. July 11th, all day. This is about Mexico. This is about Mexico and Sebastian, as well as Arizona. And there's an opposition with John during this period of time. The darkness is coming over Seth. There's a relationship with Sebastian. And this is as we go toward this opposition with Katie. And we're going to see it. We're going to see it. We're going to see it. No doubt about it. Now, I doubt you dreamt it, Angel, for you. I'm sure you didn't. I just don't remember. I really don't remember. $254. That's Arizona. Let's see if there's anything we can tell right now with Arizona in the I mean, because they're coming in the transit, so it's already an orb. There's already things going on. Florida man with dementia lost in northeastern Arizona, rescued by troopers. Retailers, last day to mail ballots, the best holes of, nothing. Once again, asking you to join the American Party. No, we're not seeing it. Arizona sheriffs use K9 to help find missing boy in the desert. Classification of cartels. Use K9. So they shine. They have their lunar nodes of fate. That's what's happening today. This opposition, though, is coming with John. 155. Let's look at Arizona one more time. And I say it's an opposition with John because his 11, the connection that he has with the agencies, plural, that connection that he has is, it's in Taurus. And so the flame of life with Vesta, well, that is in Scorpio. So there is an opposition with groups, with the way he brings in money, with the government, the law, the justice. That 1350 goes to Chris and Katie and Eric Craddock right here. There's the 1408. That's where Mars is with the 1408. And there's limits and obstacles. But things from the past. With Saturn, their Saturn here in the 12th house erodes power. They lose power. Lots of fears, lots of power that is eroded. And it's with their justice, it's with their prisons and hospitals, basically. With the science, I would say. I can definitely tell that there's a relationship here that's faded with Mississippi. Transformation with Mexico. It's hitting their ascendant. And limits and obstacles with Arizona. This opposition. The 1614 is still in transit with Sebastian and Trump. And the moon is conjunct. So if we were to have a runaway, that's going to be possible in Arizona. So if somebody goes missing in Arizona, $155. Let's go back to the UK. Let's go back to the UK on this day, on the 11th. Saturn is still, it's already left. So we can see definitely that Arizona is showing up on this day, but so is Mexico. And so is Tennessee and the U.S. Marshals. The state of Tennessee has their Mars at a 2509 in the 8th house of death, rebirth, regeneration, things that are hidden with investigations. And so does the U.S. Marshals have the 2509 in their chart. It's very intense. The intensity with the state of Tennessee is surreal when it comes to that agency and Tennessee, and that's going to be in transit here. And this is the 8th house. I mean, on a federal level, though, let me see if I'm seeing something else here too with our agencies, because this is a flame of life with all agencies that we have. We'll definitely see things happening here. The 11th through the 14th. Okay. All right. So let me move on. That's all I can do with Sebastian right now. Now I will say, hold on. It's really not. Okay. So on Veterans Day, this is very interesting. I saw this doing another video on Veterans Day, November 11th. I thought that this was very interesting because November 11th, I'm going to go. I got to check on my chickens too. So on November 11th, I thought that this was really interesting because the state of Tennessee is going to be in transit. We're going to be reworking. So the things that we are talking about today, well, we're going to be reworking that on Veterans Day. We are leading up to I don't even know what to call it. But there is a lot that we are going to see come into fruition on November 11th that we are working today, because you can see that Jupiter is at that 2509. This is a big day for the state of Tennessee, for the U.S. Marshals, for Donald Trump. It's federally. I mean, this is where Donald is going to have major limits and obstacles with health and the health of the United States as well. I don't know. He could be in the hospital. I don't know. But there's things that are taking place on this day, on November 11th, that we are looking at today with this, with the transits of today. And I had to get that out because we're going to be going back and reworking these energies that are around today. So if I look at summer wells, with the transits right now, and I want to pull up Don Sharfy, and I'm going to tell you why, because I watch him a lot in the transits with summer. I see him popping in and out because there are certain, let me just show you this day. You know, he's in jail. Sharpie's in jail. Let's go back to the 2248. yesterday, July 7th. And I would have put out a video about this yesterday, but I didn't. I was working on other things, but hold on. Before I even, let me show you this. This is the opposition with Sebastian. The opposition with his Selena at 11:43, the teacher. There has been an opposing force yesterday at 1:30 in the afternoon. There was a major opposition that was taking place. So the chatter, any of the chatter that you would have heard, there was a weight upon the state of Tennessee and the investigations from the past, things from the past, okay? This was taking place yesterday. So the chatter that you might hear that would have been playing out Monday morning and then gotten to you and you're listening to it in the afternoon or what have you, there was an opposition with the body, with the vehicle, with the teacher. And we know who I've talked about who the teacher is, who I think the teacher is. And, that's what that's the opposition. But anyway, that took place yesterday. There was a opposing force with children, online networking, also yesterday with the state of Tennessee. And Sherfy was being opposed. There was an opposition with the way that he creates with children. And we know what he's done with children. This is when Uranus had just come into Gemini. And so Pallas is bringing a wake-up call in an opposition with Sherfy, who is in jail yesterday morning. Because no matter what time he's born, I don't have to know the birthday time. I mean, it's much better if I do. But yesterday, this opposition was coming to this 2248. The 2248 in his chart is in Leo. No matter where it's at, it's in Leo. And there was an opposition with the 5th house of kids, with groups, with networking. And that's exactly what was taking place, an opposition. And I could go through here and I could show you that Mars at an 11:40 in Virgo had already come over Sedna. What is Sedna? She lets go. She's about betrayal. Her dad betrayed her. It's about betrayal, and this could be woods, pleasure. And so I want to take a look at that. We can look at this 2248 that's being opposed by Pallas, the investigator. Oh. Okay. It opposes his sun. So he shines in Aquarius. He shines with networking, videos, child P, right? That's where he shines. But he has an opposition here with the way that he is transformed in the public eye about children. Because he gets caught, right? He gets caught and he goes to jail and he's still in jail. He has another degree in his chart, Jupiter at a 1423. Jupiter at a 1423. Well, it could be the 1421 that was weighted down with Hades. Jupiter had already expanded home, land, real estate, property yesterday. I have this feeling, and I could be wrong. I don't mind being wrong. But I have this feeling that the TBI is getting information from him in jail. Whether or not he releases and lets go, because there was a warning with it in health yesterday, or if, a lot of times when these offenders, these cases that I've worked on, sometimes they won't let go. They won't release the chains that bind them. They won't release the body because they want it for themselves. It's sick. It's weird. It's disgusting. Not just with him, with anybody that could have done something to that sweet little girl, whether it's her parents, whether it's Sharfie, whether it's Fred Hill, whether it's Jody Sue, whoever. Sometimes they just don't want to let that go. They want to hold on to it. We can see that Hygeia at a 1459 at this time of this opposition with him and how he shines. We see that Hygeia at a 1459 in Gemini had just left the 1456, where there's a breakup and letting go of all things that weigh him down with pleasure. We can see that. That has taken place yesterday with Summer. And we know that the dark moon at an 1125 is going to come and oppose him at an 1138. That 1138 dark moon is going to come and oppose him in the way that he lets go. So will he let go? Will he not let go? What's happening? We just don't know. So again, 1138. Let's see what the transits are right now. The dark moon is at 1132. So let's look at this. Let's go to tomorrow. Let's go to tomorrow and let's see. Here it is. So 1138. This is going to be first thing in the morning. First thing in the morning. So let's look at this. Here is the prison. Here is the jail. There's an opposition with the business. There's an opposition here with, hold on. We're coming to Virginia. There's an opposition with the state of Tennessee and the second house. 22. 16, 14. Let's look at that. So here's the opposition. It begins at 7:30 in the morning, Nashville time. So it begins, begins in the house of home, the communications, the values of hidden sex. And now the opposition is off of him. Once the opposition moves off of him, then there should be movement. There's the 1423 that I have with his Jupiter. Jupiter is the justice. It's about home. It's about family. It's about land. Possibly cemetery. There's Virginia showing up. There's the 537. Let's go ahead. Oh, hold on. I'm moving ahead. I'm getting too excited. Let's go back because I'm going to pull the TBI up too. And then I'll pull Summer. Then I'm going to pull Summer. So we got the 12s, the 12 degrees. This is, it could be, that's Virginia. There's brothers on Summer's map in Virginia. that he may know. So what's going to happen is we're going to learn at a 2453, we're going to learn about these desires of Sherfy. 2453 on the map, that should be going southwest from her home, going over the Marigo property. But the TBI has the lowest point going over Jody Sue's, going toward this Leo. Going toward that Leo. 16. Let's see. Smoking like a freight train over here. 17, 7. 745. Here it is. Okay, so the flame of life is coming to those values. That's going north. That would be going north of her home. But that is where there would be abuse with that Venus. The dark moon is about decay and death, squares Mercury, squares the media, trines Jupiter, sextile Mars, Jupiter. Mars. And we don't know what that outer will is. Sun is shining at a 1743. So the sun is shining with a lot of disordered aggression and a lot of darkness when it comes to the media, we the people. Because the dark moon for the state of Tennessee is 1742. That is Virginia, though. 133,006. That has just been, I've just seen that. The 1652. I've just seen that. $21. This is going to hit Layla too. There's things going on with Layla's case, y'all. I'm telling you, there's a lot happening this week with these cases. And then we'll learn about the 2527 Pluto, the deep transformation, 2527. 2658. Now we are at the dark moon. Sebastian, where he went. Let's see, 2227. And we're going to see what the TBI. Let me pull up the TBI. Do I have them up? Yeah. TBI. On July 9th. Again, I mean, there's a lot happening with these cases. So 1535, 1537, 535, 537. They're learning something. They're going to learn or obtain evidence because the dark moon has already went over their Chiron. What else can we see here? These 12s. These 12s. This is going to be with her family, with Summer's family. For sure. There's definitely going to be some things with her family here. With the media. So they may post something again. They may post something again. let's see, 540, going to come down, maybe going to come and oppose them. The physician is going to oppose them of letting go with any type of evidence. 538. Does it ever come to that 538? Or does the physician Apollo station? Oh, yeah. This is going to be, yeah, it's not going to come down to that 538. So let's go back. $537. That's where I want to get it to. So right there, we're in Virginia. The 1536 is definitely Virginia, and it's with two people. Could be brothers. There's the 538. Let's go back. 537. This is going to be Tennessee, and how Tennessee and the TBI are going to be communicating here tomorrow. They're going to be communicating about who. Not sure. I think I've seen a lot with Layla and Summer and Sebastian. So don't know. I'm hopeful though that something is going to come about with the TBI and Summer. So I know that the TBI and the state of Tennessee are going to be in conversation, and so now I want to pull up Summer. Zeus is not going to come down to that 2356. Mars will eventually make it there. But she has the 1423 as well. This is her Saturn. And her Saturn is the Jupiter degree of Sharfie Jr. And that is what's going to be weighted. There's a weight here with her and Sharfie Jr. tomorrow. Whether or not he had anything to do with it or not, there's a weight. And she does, her midheaven is a 2128. Her IC, of course, is the same degree, 2128. And the lunar nodes of fate have already went over the 2128 and is now at the 2127. You see? So there is a fate that is coming with a lot of attention with Summer. And there is information that is going to come in and that is going to come out about Summer when Jupiter gets to that 646. And at this moment, it's 647. So there will be information that we should hear more about, information about Summer. But is she going to be close? Will she be in Virginia? Because that 1536 is where Virginia is transformed. They are transformed. And Mars is coming to that 1256 that Virginia has in their chart, that Summer Wells has in her chart. That 1256. So we just don't know yet how this is going to work itself out. But I am hopeful that this week, even if we don't hear the chatter, there's something that's going to come. I just don't know that the TBI, let me look at the TBI with that. I just don't know if they're going to release anything to the public, because there's going to be a breakup. That's 746 and a letting go at 538. So let's look at this. Venus is coming to the 538 where they can let go of things of the past with evidence. The 746, the flame of life, is going to be opposing them and this breakup with things of the past, with prisons and hospitals, things that have taken place in the past, or people that they are talking to that's imprisoned. And so I hope that there's something that's going to come to fruition with Summer's case tomorrow. if I look at her dad, actually, actually, communications. The moon is going to be in Capricorn. The moon is at a 418. It's in a 4 degree. It's a low degree of Capricorn. That is their investigation. It could be woods. It could be a business. Reflecting on work and responsibility and accountability. That Mars is going to Virginia. And then the next day there's going to be this transformation in Mexico. A lot of disordered aggression, darkness with Sebastian on that day. Tomorrow, opposition. And then Mercury will come to that 1256 too, I believe. So Mars is going to come first. And then Mercury. We're in Texas. There's some transformation in Texas on the 9th. Texas, Virginia. So that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that this week is a week of discovery of one or more of these missing children out of Tennessee. And that is all I have for you guys today. I've got to jump off here. I've been on talking, and I've got to go and check on the chickens and see if everybody's doing good. Because they are free ranging. So, you've got to check on them. I appreciate you guys for hanging out and listening to me. You're a wonderful group. I appreciate you all. Thank you. And until next time, peace out, y'all.
Clean like your soul won't be forgotten. We stand strong for you, never give up. Seek justice and truth. Day and night we search. Community gathers, wipe the tears away. Rise up for you, Sebastian strong. Sebastian's army, we march on. Each day comes and goes, hope in our hearts. You're never alone, we'll bring you home. Wish it was a dream, babe. It lingers on, but strength we carry will keep you strong. Rise up for you, Sebastian strong. Sebastian's army, we march on. Each day comes and goes, hope in our hearts. You're never alone, we'll bring you home. Wish it was a dream, hey, it lingers on, but strength we carry will keep you strong. Rise up for you, Sebastian.